it's time to go where the geeks unite and the ideas flow from the silver screen to the pixels glow. Every geeky story, let's start the show. EG Live, shout it loud and clear. Top news, good vibes, every week we're here. Movies, TV, books, and games collide. EG Live, it's a wild ride.
Kind of way the interesting way it left out. This is EG Live with Eugene and Cyrus. How are you doing? I just noticed the sub thing on your name there.
Why? Whatever do you mean, sir?
I mean, I didn't know you had a PS5 Pro. Like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey PJ, how you doing? Oh, I forgot to put the chat on here. So let me add the chat on here. Oh, you know what? I can't do that.
You can't
now.
do it now. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. Well, now I've just got to put everyone in there on the bottom like I used to. So, oh well.
Shucks.
Oh well.
I mean, it looks like you're gonna have to spend the money.
No, I'm not spending $400 so I can do this show when we can do it for free. Maybe just not quite as high quality, but we're there.
Who cares? It's fine. PJ, what's up, dude? What's up, PJ?
Yeah, what's going on, dude? I guess let's go ahead and jump right on into our show because we do have quite a few things to cover since we're doing the show once a month now. There's actually some time for some stories to build up. So, because when we were doing it weekly, it was like, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
So, and we'll go ahead and start off with the. Actually, I can switch back to this one. There we go. All right, add to stage. There we go. All right, so we'll start off with the summer movie game, and yeah, I'm pretty sure this is even though we still have several more weeks to go, I'm pretty sure this is the final set. Everything that's listed here is either not making any more money, so it can't bump up the list, or it's too far away and there's just no way it's going to catch it. So number one is Spider-Man Brand New Day. You said you saw it, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Me and my daughter went and saw it. Yep.
I haven't seen it. I've heard good. I have not heard great. I've just heard it's good. It's good Spider-Man. I've also not heard anyone say it was their favorite Spider-Man, but they're like, it was a good movie. So obviously good enough because it's $854 million, and that's just US domestic. It's already hit like billions, worldwide. So
yeah,
number two is the Odyssey. Did you go see that?
not yet. Nope.
Okay. I haven't seen it either. Of course, I don't really have any interest in watching the Odyssey like that. I don't know. It doesn't interest me. That time period, that story, it has never been an interest to me. So, Toy Story 5, no surprise, it's up there, 477 million. Obsession, a surprise movie at 263 million. The Devil Wears Prada 2, once again, another kind of surprising movie. Did not think it was going to clear $220 million. Backrooms, also, and I actually have seen this one, unfortunately. Just shy of $200 million. Beating out Minions and Monsters. That's crazy to me. Like, I guess, I don't know. I was talking to the boys and I was like, I thought Minions and Monsters would probably make more money. And they're like, I think it's because people are getting tired of Minions. I'm like, well, thank God. So, Mandalorian and Grogu, $177 million. Thought that was going to do better than it did. Moana at $125 million. And Disclosure Day, a Steven Spielberg movie, at $116 million. But I will say, don't bother. It's not good. So, which brings us to our top 10. At number one, Bill B with 52 points, Patrick R with 48 points, Brad F and myself are tied in number 3 with 47 points. Our buddy Travis at 46 points at number 5. Number 6 is Chris with 40 points. Our buddy Sean and Mike P tied in 7th place with 38 points. Last Line at number 9 with 37 points. And you hit the top 10 with 36.
Coming at you, top 10. America's Countdown. Yeah.
And like I said, I think this is pretty much the final thing, because the last few movies that are coming out, nothing seems like it's going to be a breakout except for one. It's not going to have a ton of time to make money. but I've heard nothing but good hype about Coyote versus Acme.
Oh yeah, it's getting exceptionally good reviews.
Yeah, so if it does somehow become a breakout and make, let's see, what was our number 10 right now is Disclosure Day. If in about 3 weeks it can clear $116 million, which is possible, then we'll definitely have a change of this board. But as for right now, I don't think it's going anywhere. So, yeah, I guess let's go ahead and move on to our next part. And that's our update for the Paramount Warner Brothers.
This is so old at this point. It's like, this is really,
The only thing that's changed is the merger is on permanent hold until June 2027. And starting September 30th, Paramount, they don't own it yet. They still don't own it yet. But they already have to start paying Warner Brothers $650 million per quarter. So let's see. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 3 or 4 quarters, depending on how you count it. Like, this is going to cost them a buttload. Now, granted, if they buy them out, they'll technically kind of be getting that money back somewhat. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, because if they acquire the company, they'll get their money back.
Unless unless a bunch of people bounce in that window of time where they take the money and run. But I mean, who knows? So
does this mean we're not going to have any more updates on it until June 2027?
Probably not. Not unless something just like is a bombshell. Like maybe I can't see Paramount being like, all right, we're done. We're
going to forget about this.
I know, right?
Like,
until we do the show and be like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So
Paramount, what's that? Oh yeah,
I know, right? The Mountain Company, yeah.
Oh,
Ramageddon update.
Oh boy.
Started off $119 for 2 sticks of DDR5 with RGB. With RGB was $119 in October.
Yeah.
Last time that we did this last month, it was up to $454. It's currently sitting at $509. Like, and the maximum
the PlayStation 5 was $500. Right there. Yeah, I mean, the whole PlayStation 5 was $500 when it launched. You know, the Xbox Series X was $500 for the whole console. I mean, back then when they launched. Mm-hmm. And the RAM, how much RAM? 32 gig?
32 gigs, 2 sticks of 16 gigabyte DDR5.
$500.
$500.
DDR5? What's 7 cost?
Oh, I don't know. No one even cares about that. Like that.
That's like 7. Whoa.
That's mythical. What are you talking about? So, PJ says Gunn's contract coincidentally runs out June 2027. It was 5 with a 5-year renewal option. I heard. Interesting. So,
wow,
that is interesting. Granted, Supergirl did not do great. So I don't know what's going to happen with him being there anyway. So
yeah, I think everyone associated with Supergirl, with maybe the exception of Jason Momoa, is gonna have a problem with their career. Yeah, there's Supergirl lost a shit ton of money, and you don't lose that much money on that big a movie and it not be a permanent scar on your resume forever. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out for him. So
really sucks because I like that actress, but whatever.
So that is it for our updates. I guess let's go ahead and get into our first story. And unfortunately, I went ahead and moved this one to the top because it was the newest story that just hit. And I didn't want to end on kind of a downer, as it were. So Dolly Parton passed away today at age 80. It was funny because someone posted on your Discord about it. And it was the conversations were like mainly things about like, wasn't she a country singer? And I'm just like, yeah, but she was a lot more than that. Like, she wasn't just a country singer. She sold over 100 million records, won 11 Grammys in the 40 years that she's been an entertainer. She starred in several movies, including 9 to 5, Steel Magnolias, Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Best Little Whorehouse in Texas is one of my wife's favorite movies of all time. She watched it when she was 5.
Yeah.
Not to her grandparents' agreement. And it was singing some of the songs in church.
As one does.
As one does. I've never seen that movie. I've seen bits and pieces. I have seen Steel Magnolias. If you've ever been married or dated a woman, you've probably seen Steel Magnolias. I have seen 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is a fantastic movie. Like
That's a fun
that
movie.
is a killer cast on there. And I love
Yeah.
Dabney Coleman. Like he's plays such a smarmy jerk in that movie, and he's fantastic in that thing. So but the other things that she's known for, she opened Dollywood, her amusement park, back in 1986. I hadn't realized it's been running that long. It still has nothing but pretty much positive reviews. There's a bald eagle reserve there. Like it's not just a park. Like it's actually like helping animals and stuff. And then the other thing that like I heard about just several years ago that just kind of blew my mind. She created this group called the Imagination Library, and they have mailed 300 million plus books to kids in the US, Canada, Australia, UK, and Ireland.
Wow.
To the point that she was known by a lot of people as just the book lady. Like every year they mail millions and millions of books out to people, to kids. I mean, like you want to talk about a class act through and through. Like the woman, she was funny, she was smart, she was witty. Anytime you watched her in an interview, she was funny as hell.
Don't forget
Yeah.
Whitney Houston sang I Will Always Love You. That was her song. She wrote
Yes, it
that.
was. Yes,
You
it
could
was.
you could argue it was her biggest song ever, and she gave it to Whitney Houston. And Whitney Houston, they both got rich off that song. She
Yes,
said,
they
what was
did.
it? She had a thing she talked about where she said she made more money off that song than anything else she ever did. She didn't even sing it. Yeah.
Hello, Buffalo Weasel Wings. Welcome to the show. Yes, R.I.P. Dolly Parton. Yeah, she was an absolute great. So definitely had to mention her. So yeah, everyone I talked to today, that was just like, oh my God, I can't believe she's gone. So
And Dolly Parton was a tremendous influence in so many ways, including video games. Tifa from Final Fantasy VII. Come on, there's no Tifa from Final Fantasy VII without.
I was like, where are you going with this? So
I'm just saying.
yeah. There's a clip of her talking about, doing interviews. That was the other thing. She never was vulgar about anything, but she would definitely throw out some more risque jokes. And, she's like, everyone wants to talk about what's going on up top. I have a nice ass as well, people. And I'm just like, that's hilarious. Like, you go, lady.
She was really smart and really witty and charming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She was one of the all-time greats. She'll go down forever as one of the all-time greats for sure.
Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and move on to our next story. Not really any better news. Yeah. So talking about the old video games here. So let's get into it. So a group called Does It Play? It's a video game preservation group, proposed a week-long boycott from August 23rd to the 30th. So we are currently in that boycott right now.
Yes, we are.
Of PlayStation. And basically they're saying, hey, don't buy games, log out of PSN, don't even play the console. Whatever level you feel you can handle, don't do it. We're going to show Sony that we are not happy about them getting rid of physical media. Critics say that it doesn't go far enough. They suggest if you really want to stick it to Sony and tell them that, hey, we don't agree with this, cancel PSN for 3 months. Be like, hey, you're not getting my money for 3 months. Demand refunds on any pre-selling digital games. I think that's the last slide I had on this one. Yeah, okay, because that's going to be the next part. So, thoughts on this, Cyrus? Because I definitely have some thoughts on this one.
I don't have any thoughts or concern about PlayStation whatsoever. It's not a console I think about very much, or don't have much to do with at all.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Your T-shirt. too, as
here's
well.
my here's my thing. Of course, nobody likes the idea of physical media going away. Nobody likes it. It's terrible. None of this is going to make any difference because it's a done deal. It's been done. Sony, look, a friend of mine, Leo DS, made a statement that really made me think. He said, Sony let everybody know way ahead of time. He's like, they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to let everybody know. What is it, like 2 years ahead, basically?
2028.
Yeah. They let everybody know way ahead of time. So people feel like, oh, well, there's time. We can do something. No, there's not. And you can't. This has already been decided a long time ago. The wheels of this were put into motion. Sony shut down the factories. This is reality. Okay. There is still physical media out there, right? Here it is. There's this stuff, cartridges, there's Nintendo Switch. There's small companies doing things. There's physical media out there, but we've known back when the Xbox One was announced, they were trying to do this then. Microsoft was. Sony was in a pinch, and so they went the opposite direction. But it was against their own. It was against their own personal interest to do so. So they delayed this process, and it helped them, and they reestablished everything for PlayStation and took over the market. And now that they're in control, safely in control of the market, they're like, all right, well, we're doing this. It's done. So we can do boycotts, and we can just not turn on our PlayStation, and we can cancel our PlayStation Plus. We can do all that stuff. And when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, which is the next thing you're going to talk about, we're all going to get back on our PlayStations, and nobody's going to give a shit about any of this. Would I like to have physical copies? Sure, absolutely. Would I have preferred to pre-order a physical copy of Grand Theft Auto 6? Definitely. But none of this is going to happen. This is not the Sega smoke and mirrors with Sonic the Hedgehog movie thing where they put out the fake CGI and then act like it's the real CGI and say, oh, does the public not like that? Oh, well, we can change it. Oh, y'all have had such an outcry. Yeah, here's the new graphics that they already had ready to go that would have taken way too long to get prepared in the first place if they hadn't. But everybody was like, yeah, we did it. We're the ones that did it. You didn't do shit. It was all part of the Sega plan back then. And here we are. Because of things like that, people think they can actually do something about this stuff. And I think that's, admirable, but it's also kind of cute that the gaming public thinks they could stop Sony from ending physical media. Like, we really think you can do that. You really do. Where was the outcry on PC? Where was the outcry back when Steam was establishing itself on PC and physical media was going away and everything was moving to digital platforms for PC, whether it was Steam or the other ones, that are out there? Where was all the outrage and don't turn on Steam? Make sure everybody, cancels their Steam membership. Everybody get off of GOG. Don't use this service. This is a strange thing that's happening. Everybody acted like, oh, well, it was antiquated and, we move on with, PC's better anyway. It's the master race. It's the ultimate, whatever. Who cares about physical media? We'd rather not have to deal with that anyway. We get way better deals on Steam. I buy my keys off of CD keys or whatever, I don't care. But it happens on PlayStation and all of a sudden everybody's incredulous and acts like, oh, we have a right to this. Like, there's physical things out there and we can keep buying them. I mean, that's one of the great things about having a Switch too, is the physical media, that they have. You may not like key cards, but it is still physical and it does still have a lot of the properties that physical offers, you know, the benefits of that. But some of the games are actually on the cartridges, and then you can buy cartridges for other things like Evercade or whatever. So there is still physical stuff available. But this CD thing, this Blu-ray thing, this has been on its way out for a long time. And everybody's acting like they had no idea that this was going to happen, that this was some out of nowhere, left field, you know, iron fisted, like, I'm trying to think of the word, dystopian future, you know, like we've known this was going to happen for a long time. I mean, we don't have to be happy that it's going away, but the idea, I'm going to say this, the arrogance of some of these gamers to be like, you need to do this and you need to stand up and everybody better cancel their PlayStation and you better not turn on your, if we find out that you turned on your PlayStation during this period, we're going to call you out on X or on Facebook, or we're going to make an example out of you. How dare you not participate in the thing that will save gaming? You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. You know, it's like, guys, get off your high horse for a second. Okay. You're not going to stop it. It's happening. It's been happening. It's manifesting itself now. You have other options, right? And you've been buying digital games this whole time anyway. Why would this be happening if gamers weren't buying more digital games this whole time? You think this would be happening if the gamers weren't buying the games digitally? We did
I would say yes, but they also are horrible about reading what actually happens. So, but I would agree, yes, that is the reason.
No, well, what I'm saying is, if the sales weren't skewed heavily to digital, if they weren't selling more digital than physical by a significant margin, it wouldn't make financial sense for Sony or whoever to stop making the version of the games that makes more money. The only reason this is happening is the physical games have decreased in sales to the point to where it doesn't impact them as much because they're making so much money off the digital stuff. So are they still selling a significant amount of physical stuff? Sure. But it's expensive. And the fewer they sell, the more expensive it is to make. It's you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The smaller the batch, the more expensive the batch, this sort of thing. They have to run these facilities. They have to pay these employees. They have to maintain this equipment. They have to run the supply lines and maintain the relationships with the retailers and the shipping companies and all the expenses that are involved. And people expect the price of the disc to be in parity with the digital version, right? But we know the prices were going up already. They kept raising the prices, right? We know they have their issues with all that. We're not, you know what I'm saying. But my point is, if it made financial sense, they wouldn't be killing the discs. They wouldn't be shooting themselves in the foot right now. They're doing it because it makes sense for them. And the reason it makes sense for them, the biggest reason it makes sense for them, is because of us. Because we buy digital games and more digital games than anything else. So now all of a sudden we're the victims. We caused this shit to happen. That's all I'm saying.
That's all you're saying.
I'm just saying, like, people act like they didn't have nothing to do. Like, what is that old Bill Burr bit about, like, a fight breaks out between a man and a woman? You're not supposed to hit a woman, but, you know, crazy things happen. You know, it's like, what do you think? There wasn't a reason why something crazy happened? You think the fire department shows up to a burned down house and doesn't ask any questions? You know, like, oh, well, I wonder what happened. I guess it just burned down for no reason. Oh, there's a greasy rag. That's weird. You know, like, there's cause and effect. That's all I'm saying. Like, to step in right now and try to act like we're going to be heroes and stop this thing from happening that we caused is so weird to me. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Fair enough. PJ, I don't know if we should do a surprise bombing on a Japanese naval base on a Sunday morning in retaliation for this. So I don't know if that would actually help the situation or not.
It's not their fault. It's our fault. We have to own this. We got to stop acting like we're just a bunch of victims. We did this.
Here's my take. So I agree with the critics on this one in that just not logging in, just not playing, and especially for just a week. Like a week is nothing. Like that's whatever.
What is that going to do? Like Sony gives a shit about this? Like,
yes, like as long as you're still paying money for PSN, like they're still making the money. Like technically this is helping them out because their servers aren't going to be as stressed this week. They may save a little bit of money on electricity this week. I do think if you did cancel PlayStation Network and a large enough people did it, it might get their attention. It's going to take a lot more than that. Like, to be completely honest, if everybody was actually behind this 100% and we're like, we're going to tell Sony we want to keep disc, then you need to cancel your PSN. You need to sell your PlayStations, and you specifically need to stop buying them. If all of a sudden Sony was like, hey, where'd all of our sales go? That would get their attention. But this isn't going to get their attention, guys. Like, you have to be dramatic, and to get everyone on board, that's not going to happen. Because like you said, our next story is literally talking about Grand Theft Auto 5 or 6. And when that drops, all of this is out the window. No one's going to give a shit, at least for several months. So,
well, here's the thing to think about. Let's just imagine in our heads that this was successful, that this little boycott or temper tantrum, whatever you want to call it, this was successful. And Sony says, okay, we're going to keep making physical games. Everything's back on like it used to be. Don't worry. Everything's going to be physical. It'll be cool. Do you honestly think that the general public is going to start buying physical games at a higher rate for a long period of time? For like a month, maybe, but
yeah, who knows?
I mean, the whole reason this is happening isn't because Sony bad, evil, mean company. This is happening because of us. I'm going to say it again. We buy mainly digital games, and that's because we like them. Do we like physical games? Sometimes. Once in a while, we'll buy a physical game. Some people are really into physical, and they buy a lot of physical. But the overwhelming public doesn't. They buy mainly digital games on sale on the online store. That's where they buy their games. They're going to keep doing that. They don't even go look for physical games. They don't even think about the physical game. A lot of people find it very annoying to have to get up and change the discs all the time. I remember when the Xbox 360 first started putting games out on Xbox Live Arcade, and then they started putting the full retail Xbox 360 games digitally for you to buy. Everybody lost their mind about how awesome it was. They could buy the game. They could get it day one. They didn't have to worry about the lines. They didn't have to pre-order. They could put it on their hard drive. They had it. It was there anytime they wanted it. They didn't have to get up and change discs. They improved it with the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles to where you could do like this fast resume thing where like you pause a game, come back to the exact same moment in the game, load a different game, do all this crazy stuff. People love this concept. The only reason people are freaking out about this right now is because they didn't expect it to happen so soon. And they don't like being told what to do. People don't like being told this is what's happening. They want to be the one that made the decision. They don't want Sony to make the decision. They want to be the one that made the decision. So they're mad at, Dad. Dad has made a decision and they're pissed at Dad. And I'm sorry, I saved my hot takes for your show, by the way. But,
you know what? That's why we're here.
But and I'll say it again. Yes, I love physical media. Obviously, I love to buy the physical versions of things. I think it's awesome, but I don't do it all the time, and I don't do it for everything. And there's tons of stuff that I would rather have digitally, because it's just a lot easier to manage. It gives you a lot of freedom for how you implement it. You know, Steam is awesome, but right, we can have all these games in our library, and if we want to play them, we install them, and if we don't, we uninstall them, and we keep our saves, and we don't have to worry about it. It's all in the cloud. We have all this digital presence of things. PlayStation, same thing. You can install games on multiple consoles, and if you want to log into this console, now you're playing your digital library. You want to log into that when you're playing your digital. So there's a lot of good things about it. We like it. And we don't have to go to the store, and we don't have to worry about they're going to sell out. We have it. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 6 is my big game that I bought. Did I mention that I have a PlayStation 5 Pro, Eugene?
Vaguely, I don't remember.
Well, anyway, sorry, killing the flow here, but yeah, I bought a PS5 Pro for Grand Theft Auto 6. That's why I bought it. And
really, I didn't.
Yes, that is the reason.
Okay.
But there's other games too that I want to play, but that's the primary reason I got it, because I knew it's eventually going to come to PC, but it wasn't coming. We don't know exactly when that's going to happen. So I was like, I got to get it on PlayStation. I didn't even have a PS5 because I gave mine to my daughter. So I was like, I'm going to have to buy another PS5. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to pull the trigger and take care of this and do it the long-term way for me, which would turn out to be good for me. But anyway, my point is, I'm going to thoroughly enjoy playing Grand Theft Auto 6 digitally. Would I like to have a physical copy? Yeah, that'd be cool. But is this like the end of the world? No, this is just what we knew was going to happen anyway. And it's happening a little early, and people are a little bit upset about it. And the other thing is, I think people are acting more upset than they really are, because they think it's possible that Sony might turn this thing around, and then they can claim responsibility. That's the big thing. They want to be responsible for changing something and victory and winning against the machine once again, just like Sonic the Hedgehog, just like the Sega movie thing. You know, we won. We beat the evil company. We're the pygmies have got together and killed the elephant. You know, it's a fantasy people have. You know, and I get that. It's fun to dream that the small little people can rise up and do something great. And once in a while it can happen. It can, or it can be, the illusion can be created that it happened to make everybody happy. Mm-hmm. But this was not like that. Sony hasn't responded in any way to all of this huge backlash that has been in all over the media. We've had senators talking about it, all this stuff. Sony's like, nah, we're doing it, bro.
Well, actually, they did respond, and I didn't put this on as a story. Don't know if this was just coincidence. Don't know if this was them actually like kind of putting their foot down. But you heard about the emails that went out, right?
Yeah. Well, okay.
Basically, oh yeah, by the way, you don't own anything.
Yeah.
You're licensing, which is not news. Like, everyone knows this. But the fact you sent out an email to remind everybody,
well, see,
y'all are not handling this well.
That was a dick move. I grant you that. And I'm not supporting that kind of shit. In fact, I think there's a movement now to have some litigation about the concept of ownership when it comes to digital games. And
there needs to be.
Yeah, that's something, that is the ramifications that Sony's going to have to deal with for getting rid of physical media. Is there's going to be changes to the legality of digital ownership. So we'll see how that works out, but it'll be fine for everybody. It's just it's whatever. It's the next thing that needs to happen. So this will force that forward, which is actually to everyone's benefit.
Hopefully.
Yeah, probably. But we're not stopping this. There's no stop. Sony's not backing off of this. It's done. And I just find it personally a little bit irritating that people, I don't care if you're upset. That's great. You're upset about the physical thing. You want to do something. You feel fired up. Okay, I'm all for that. You should care about gaming, and you should care about physical ownership. And these things are important, and I agree with you. What I don't like is when these motherfuckers want to lord it over people that aren't doing enough, that aren't like doing the right things, that aren't going far enough, that aren't doing the approved fucking list of demands that these internet terrorists have like laid out for everybody. Oh, I can't be part of the cool kids anymore because I didn't do enough to meet your demands for what you think I should have done. You're going to like hold this against me years from now. You're going to bring it up. Next time I do a video, you're going to be in the comments going, we remember what you didn't do during the boycott and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, you're not the fucking internet police. You're not the video game authoritarians. You don't control you're not the fucking power trip that some of these people are having about like their little uprising. You know, they think they're the fucking rebellion against the empire. You know, it's like, you're not in charge of shit, and you're definitely not going to make me feel bad or use it against me that I didn't go far enough to appease your fucking demands. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm wearing my PlayStation shirt. That's why I brought my controller over here. That's why I will power on my PlayStation, and I might even buy a game today because fuck you people. So
fair enough. Let's go and move on to our next story. So it is a story, but it's not as big a story as it was for about 48 hours, because for about 48 hours, this was huge. GTA6 leak Dead Man Switch is fake. So apparently this was never actually reported. This got hyped up by some other group. And unfortunately, a lot of people who, you know, we're not reporters, we're not journalists, but people who are reporters and journalists probably should be checking a little better before they start carrying on and, you know, causing a story to go a little more viral. But it was leaked that the GTA 6 leaker, which is legit, CyberLeak, does not have a Dead Man Switch on the game. So the story was that he made a comment that, hey, if y'all come after me and arrest me, I have a Dead Man Switch set up so that if I don't check in once a day, my server is going to basically blast the code out for the entire game, and you're going to lose control of the game. That would have been devastating. That might end Rockstar, period. But that wasn't the case. There's no Dead Man Switch on the game. It also has been confirmed that he doesn't have a full retail version of the game. He appears to have a 22-23 era dev build. It's not full, and it's not the entire retail game. Some of the story, and I got links are in the show notes of everything where I got all this time. Releasing the build would still require Rockstar's authentication servers to play it. So even if he did leak the code, if you don't have tokens to their servers, it's not going to make you any difference. The way that it could still be bad for Rockstar, though, is if he does still leak the game, it could be very damaging in that people could go through the code and they could be like, oh, so this is how they're doing stuff. This is the idea of how they went about programming this. This is more of a this is more like industrial espionage type of situation. This is not going to help, you know, people who are wanting to actually play the game. This would be more so like other companies going, "Oh, yes, please leak the game. I would not mind seeing how you go about coding the whatever, like the physics for the cars or whatever." So yeah, it's not as bad as it could be. And I mean, like, I'm not trying to take the side of anyone who feels like they're being a vigilante for doing stuff like this. Okay. But I will say, I would have felt a little more sympathy and felt a little more positive about your intelligence if maybe this was your way of protesting, we want physical games. If that was what you were saying, we want physical games, or I'm going to release the game, I'm like, well, I get it. He's pissed off. He's doing something about it. But CyberLeak had 3 things that they wanted to have happen. No pre-order sales for digital games. What? Oh,
that's a weird thing.
That's a weird thing. No DLC already made on the that's already on the disc. Okay. Now I agree with that. If you have the DLC already programmed in, especially if it's already been pressed onto a disc, and then you want to charge more money, that's something I think maybe legislation needs to look into. Being like, hey, listen, you're selling us an incomplete thing, because that could affect a lot of other stuff. You could even drag the car companies in on this one, being like, hey, what do you mean I have to pay a subscription to have cruise control? Because that is a thing, by the way, on some of these newer vehicles. And protect single player modes. What does that even mean? Like, every game has to have a single player mode? Like, these demands are insane.
Is this
So
like,
it's
is that protect single player mode? Is that like related to the that movement to protect games from being like, if they have to log into a server and then it's your single player doesn't work anymore? Like
that may be part of it, yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out what that meant. Sorry.
But yeah, so I was just like, when I read these, and these are legit, these are the actual published things that CyberLeak has put out, that they're saying this is why we're doing what we're doing. I'm just like, yeah, this isn't thought through. This is all scattershot, and you've pretty much at this point just, you're going to prison. As soon as they catch you, they're going to throw you in the slammer, guy. So, because all you're doing at this point is pissing off people, possibly like Cyrus. I don't give one shit about GTA. I never have. I've never played any of the games. They've never been interesting to me at all. But even I'm not interested in seeing what the possible, ending is for one of the characters. Like, all you're going to do is piss off some of these people that might accidentally. And here's the other thing. If you are genuinely like looking forward to this game, and you are genuinely afraid of being spoiled for this game, this is a good time that you need to be evaluating who you follow on social media and YouTube and everything else. Because anyone that's going to immediately put up, everyone dies in the end, and then goes through their explanation just so that they can be, bombastic and like, get their name out there because they broke the story of what happens. Fuck those people. Like, I stopped watching certain YouTube channels and unsubscribed and unfollowed certain people because they thought they were the cool guys for leaking the story about the next, Marvel movie or whatever it was. This was years ago. And I'm just like, you literally just ruined this, or not ruined, but you literally just like gave away some big plot point for a show or game or something I was excited about. And the first 15 seconds of this thing, I had no time. There was at no point you came up and said, hey, we're going to talk about spoilers for the new movie coming out next week. It was literally Spider-Man dies on next week's movie that comes in. It's like, you gave me no chance at all to decide this is not what I want to hear. So I was like, fuck y'all. I'm not following you. I'm not supporting you. So yeah, just be aware if you are afraid of this game being spoiled for you. Just watch your social media, because I guarantee you there's going to be people out there, as soon as more information comes out, this is going to be their claim to fame, is leaking all the stuff that was leaked. So
you see Rabs,
Rabs here. These demands look like a younger teen workshopping his ransom note on Reddit, and I feel I'm disparaging younger teens here. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, if it was literally, I have a copy of the game, I'm going to leak information. I may even leak the entire game. This is my way of being pissed off that you're not giving me a physical copy of the game. I'd be like, I get it. This doesn't make sense.
All they're doing is vaguely, shittily disguising a money-making grift. Like, this is literally like, they got the code for whatever it was they got, and they're piecing it out and taking money. They're taking Bitcoin to do this, to put it out so people can see the little bits and pieces. The strip club was the big thing the other day. They were showing the strip club stuff, and people were throwing money at them so they could see the strip club in GTA6. And I was like, we are silly. We are really silly people,
Yeah, like, I have comments on that. I'm just like, listen, if guys, depending on what state you are in, sometimes it's a little more difficult, but there are websites where you can literally see naked ladies and it doesn't cost you anything. And if you're that worried about seeing the virtual version in a game, I mean, I guess everyone's got their own thing. So, by the way, Wolf has said they leaked the ending Sai got a PS5 Pro instead of just a PS5.
Yeah,
Rab said spoilers. So yes, that was the ending. Yeah, I just, like I said, like when I first heard about this, like this was when I heard, because the boys told me, Alex is the one that actually told me, he's like, did you hear that there's a Dead Man Switch? I'm just like, okay, that's kind of cool, to be honest with you, but also like this guy means business. And then when I found out, oh no, it's all bullshit, I was just like, well, never mind.
Do you know what it would have done to the industry if that had been real and it did happen?
It was the full retail game.
I mean, it would have. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like sometimes I really feel like we gamers don't deserve video games, like as a thing, you know, because we're very selfish, immature, childlike. You know, it's a very silly community, and there's great people and great times, and I have awesome people that I hang out with, but I have seen so much that you're just like, wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I can't believe that you haven't really gotten into any of the Grand Theft Autos. That's
no,
that's
it
so
doesn't interest. And the fact that you're playing, the characters are mostly like doing illegal stuff just doesn't interest me. Like now, on contrast, I played the hell out of Red Dead Redemption. Like 100%. But like, I also felt like some of the decisions that I made, like, yes, there were some decisions I was like, I have to do the bad thing. But in most cases in that game, the situations where, well, you can handle this badly. You could walk in and just shoot everyone, or it's going to be harder, but you could tie them up and take them in for justice. And I almost like 99% of the time always went that route. Like, I like playing the good guy, and I don't like having to be a bad guy. And like, both of my boys wanted to play GTA, you know, a few years ago when they were even younger. And I was just like, guys, I don't have a problem with y'all running around and doing all the stuff. It's just some of the more adult stuff. And kind of, we found ways of getting around that. But it's just like, yeah, like, and I don't know, maybe it was just, that's what everyone focused on, but it was just like, hey, so what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to play GTA this weekend. What really? So what do you do in the game? Well, I'm going to run around, steal cars, kill hookers. And I'm just like, cool. I'm going to go fight an imaginary war and try to save the world. Thanks. Like, it doesn't interest me at all.
You know what my favorite thing to do in Grand Theft Auto is? Wandering around the city, doing nothing, petting cats, climbing buildings, finding hidden this or that, exploring, seeing cars that I never saw before, chasing
and see, that's
down
why
cougars. Yeah,
that's the actual cats.
Well,
that's why Alex. Well, that's the type of thing Alex really wanted to play. He's like, I don't care about the story, Daddy. So I just need to get through the story so I can unlock stuff. He goes, I just want to like do some of these things you see people do where they like take the car and jump it.
Yeah.
And it happens to go right through a building and then it lands perfectly. The crazy physics stuff. He's like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So,
and GTA 6 is loaded with way more of that stuff. Like so much. You know, it's going to be great. By the way, I want to point out something. I know you said earlier that, you know, you really got into Red Dead Redemption and you really like to play as the good guys and not the bad guys. But I remember when we played
no, that was online and that didn't count, but yes, that was fun. We would occasionally it was like what, you, me, Manning,
yeah.
Maybe Lewis. I think Lewis would join us. And we would go into a town and like go to the hotel or whatever, get like up on top of the hotel and then just start raising hell and see how long we could last. You're absolutely right. We did that from time to time, but in the story mode.
Do you remember them two guys that we chased down and they were actually begging us to leave them alone? And we were like,
I don't remember that.
This was like when the game first was out, 360 days, we were being dicks. We only did it for a couple of days, like a couple of times we did that. Then we never did it again. But I remember Evil Eugene. There was a side of Eugene, Wolfus's, when your dad wants to. There's another side to Eugene that will come out, and he griefed the hell out of some people. So he's not as innocent as you think.
Oh, he knows that. By the way, he said, it's fun. I have a game modded from 100 gigabytes to 200 gigabytes because of mods. NPCs have full likes and they have memories and can talk to you, and it's scary. Why would you do that? But whatever.
It's virtual
That's
reality.
how he wants to play.
That's, you know, it's like walking around in Skyrim or any of these open world games, even like Zelda Breath of the Wild. You're like exploring and talking to people and finding things and discovering stuff, and you're doing all this side stuff that has nothing to do with anything. It's really fun. It is. And that's why I said when GTA 6 comes out, you guys ain't gonna hear from me for a while, because that's all I'm gonna do. I mean, I'm sure I'll do stuff, but I will have red bloodshot eyes and be extremely tired.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on to our next
and
story.
where will I do that, Eugene?
This is one of the ones that you sent me. Nintendo takes down emulators. Nintendo filed with GitHub to take down 7 repositories of, I'm probably saying this wrong, Suyu emulator?
Suyu, I guess. That's funny.
Of the Suyu emulator code, which is for the Nintendo Switch. Because of the way they have it set up, basically, if you take down the host, anything down the line also goes down. So even though it was 7 repositories, it ended up affecting 401 sub repositories. Suyu is a fork of the previously shut down Yuzu emulator. And Nintendo is claiming it is illegal. It illegally circumvents Nintendo's TPM in order to run illegal copies. I was talking to Wolfus about this a little earlier today. Here's my thing. I don't have a problem with emulators. I especially don't have a problem with emulators for games and consoles that aren't being produced anymore. And in some cases, you can't find anymore. This is for a console that still has games being manufactured for it, and Nintendo still is. I think they've stopped producing Nintendo Switches. I think we did this story where they've moved completely over to Switch 2 at this point, or if they haven't, it's coming up here pretty quickly. But it's still supported.
They moved over to Switch 2 completely now.
Okay, but it's still supported. If you have a Switch 1 and you have a problem with it, like Nintendo's still like, sure, we have parts. This is doable. So I'm like, what did you think was going to happen? Like,
yeah. Well, the reason this all blew up was the previous one they were talking about, the
Yuzu. Yeah.
They were working with people who were illegally distributing Tears of the Kingdom when it first came out. That's what did this. Like, Nintendo was going to leave it alone. They weren't going to get in. They weren't going to get into it until that shit happened. These people were distributing illegal copies of Tears of the Kingdom and having their emulator run with their emulator.
Okay, that 100% makes sense.
And that was it. Nintendo was like, gloves are off. We're going to take you guys out. And they did. And they destroyed those people that were working on that emulator. I mean, it was, I don't remember the whole thing that happened, but they had to give up everything. They give up all their equipment. They give up all their money. They're in debt to Nintendo for the rest of their lives. Yeah. They destroyed them. And don't fuck with Nintendo, man.
No. No. So let me ask you that. Okay, well, let's see what Rab says here real quick. Suyu sounds like they were asking for it. Suyu, really? That is Nintendo. Good luck with that. Yeah. How far back? Because obviously, I was even thinking about this. I was kind of thinking through this whole process yesterday and today, and I was thinking about it, and I was just like, under my thought process for when it becomes okay to start emulating stuff, it kind of really goes to the fact when the company stopped supporting said thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, technically, not that they would do this because, this would cost them more money. But technically speaking, if Nintendo was like, oh no, we still support the NES. we still support, like, you can still buy parts from us, official Nintendo branded parts for the NES. Like, we still support all of our consoles. Then at that point, I would be like, well, I mean, they kind of have a point. But then the NES Mini kind of defeats that thing. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, y'all are using an emulator too. So
And they took the ROMs off the internet for that, by the way. That wasn't ROMs they had in their own vault.
oh,
So,
really?
Yeah. So
Interesting. So yeah,
they-
it's like, to me. So the question I was going to have for you is, at what level would you say it's okay for people to emulate stuff and they would probably be okay? Like, at what Nintendo console do you think is the cutoff? What Sony? What
Okay.
Xbox
Well,
console?
I have very complicated thoughts and feelings about this stuff.
All right, hit me with it.
Okay. First thing I want to address is not emulation.
Mhm.
I want to talk about a new trend that I've seen happening quite a bit that I have very mixed feelings about, that I want to just be happy and supportive and celebrate, but I'm having some strange thoughts about. I want your thoughts about this too. Have you heard about these native decompilation, recompilation projects for like Nintendo 64 games like Star Fox and Mario Kart, where they have them running on PC or running them on Dreamcast through the native hardware, not through an emulator? Just they've been able to reverse engineer back in the code of the game,
Okay.
and they actually have the code running on your hardware. So it's running like widescreen, 60 frames with extra bells and whistles that, you haven't seen this. You haven't seen that this has been happening.
No, I haven't.
It's happening a lot. They're doing it with N64, PlayStation. They're doing it with arcade games. They're doing it with even like older games, like native ports of like Zelda 3 on Super Nintendo, where they're making it widescreen and doing all this stuff. So I have conflicting thoughts about it, because it's one thing to me. Before we even get into the emulator end of things, I'll say this about emulation. It's one thing if you take a ROM from an original game, like say Zelda 3, and you're playing it on an emulator and it's recreating the experience that you had on the original hardware with maybe some enhancements, but it's still that ROM for that hardware, right? It's a Super Nintendo game and you're playing the Super Nintendo ROM and it's Super Nintendo, but you're playing it on the emulator. That's one thing. It's another thing to me when you take the game and you break it up and you recompile it and release it without the constraints of the original hardware, to where it's now like a new experience. It's like a new release. It's like a new presentation. It's got features there's no way it could have had. It's got higher resolution. It's got all kinds of stuff. And it's running on native hardware. It's like, that's like a PC version of Zelda 3 at that point. That's like a Dreamcast version of Mario Kart or Star Fox or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When you do that, to me, that's like, what if Nintendo wants to, at some point, re-release Mario Kart 64 and have it be a native game on their own hardware, and it's got widescreen and all these extra bells and whistles, and it's not running through an emulator. It's being processed through that hardware. Well, you've just stepped on that. You've just released your version of that, which you don't have any right to. You don't have a right to do that. And if it's their property, then it's their property, and they have a right to decide whether or not they even want to do that. And if they decided to, maybe they were going to release it next year, but now that people are doing this, they're like, well, forget that. So you've just taken away a legit recompilation that was going to be released to the public, and you could have bought, and it would have had like all these bug fixes and all this Nintendo stuff they would have done. Now none of that's going to happen because Nintendo doesn't think it's going to be profitable, because somebody's already stepped on that and put out their own version of something that they didn't even have a right to do. So this is why, maybe I'm overthinking all this, I don't know. But in my head, this recompilation, re-release running on native hardware, I think it's awesome, except that it makes me in my brain go, oh, wait a minute. I don't know how I feel about this. Is this good? Is this, they don't have a right to do this? Like, what does this mean? You know, so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about it. Now, what
Okay,
you
I'm gonna have to
asked-
think about this.
Yeah.
Go on.
Think about that.
Okay.
What you asked was, how far back can you go to a console, you know, the previous consoles or previous generations or whatever, and feel decent about emulating, which means downloading ROMs and ISOs. That's what it means. Playing games, maybe not even emulating, maybe like my Saturn with the Saru cart, or my turbo, my Super Graphics with the Turbo EverDrive. Maybe that's what it means, but ROMs for old school stuff. How far back do I feel good about? I'll be honest with you. I don't really feel good about any of it, but that ship has sailed on the older stuff. There was a time when it didn't need to happen, but it did. And the companies didn't care. And they lost control of it. And it went out to the public to the point to where, like I said earlier, you were talking about the NES Classic. Nintendo just took the ROMs off the internet because they already been dumped and put out there. They didn't want to fuck with it. So they just took what was already out there and put that on their own system. That's how bad that is. It's everywhere and it's just out there. So I can't feel too bad about playing an NES, ROM, or a Super Nintendo ROM, or a Genesis ROM, or the TurboGrafx stuff. I can't feel bad about at all, because Konami, who owns the licenses for most of the TurboGrafx stuff, the Hudson stuff and all that kind of things, they have done an absolutely horrible job of doing anything with it, other than they did that TurboGrafx Mini, which unfortunately wasn't very good. That's it. And I did buy 2 of those, by the way. One of them I gave to man, and the other one I had for a while, but it wasn't good, so I got rid of it. But I did buy it, and so I helped, promote the idea of resurrecting TurboGrafx software and stuff. I'm big about that. And I'll tell you another thing. They have put out some TurboGrafx games on the Switch that you can buy, like the Cosmic Fantasy collections and Shockman collections. There's some TurboGrafx stuff there, and I bought all of that shit because, first of all, I want to play it on my Switch and translated, because it's RPGs, some of which never came out over here. But also, I do believe in supporting things. You know how many collections I have bought for things that I got ROMs for, but I still bought all those Neo Geo games I bought on PlayStation, all those different collections that I have for Genesis, and all this Evercade stuff. Holy crap. I mean, it's like, I will spend the money to promote and to have the real legit version, because I want to, because I don't feel great about, downloading ROMs. I don't feel great about it. I would prefer to not ever do it. I would prefer if they made it affordable for me to buy all the damn ROMs for the TurboGrafx. I would buy them all. If they put them out, here's 200 TurboGrafx ROMs for $50. I'm paying $50 and I'm going to own them legit. And I will feel fantastic about that.
Yeah.
But you do what you have to do if you love these things, right? It doesn't mean that we don't try to support what we can, but the ship sailed on a lot of this stuff, and it's all there is. And it's the way you have to do it. Because I can't afford to spend $3,000 on a copy of, Magical Chase or some TurboGrafx game that's some stupid amount of money. Some of these Neo Geo games, good Lord, there's no way. There's literally no way. So, yeah. But anyway, am I answering? I don't know if I'm answering.
No, you answered it. Well, for the most part, like I was kind of trying to pull out from you, like, I think up to 360, maybe PlayStation, like, but no, I get from what your stance, and you've said this before, like, you are very much a big supporter of the older stuff, especially if it's a legitimate way to do it. And that's always kind of been one of my things is, like, in some cases I've bought the game, I just playing it a different way. In fact, I can show you like Super Mario World. There's my copy. There's my physical copy. If I want to play it on an emulator on my PC, I think this should give me that ability. Have I bought it? Did I buy it whenever it came back out, like on the Wii? I'm pretty sure I did. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've done the same thing.
You also have a license on Nintendo Switch Online, so
yeah,
you're legal for that.
And so, like, there are things that, like, yes, I would much rather play it in an official way if it's going to be done that way. But then you have some games it's like they don't ever want to do anything with, and so now that's a totally different story. Like, the whole, I am 100% behind these groups that are like, hey, we need to keep games alive. Like this bullshit of them going like, oh, hey, by the way, we're not going to, we're giving up on this game. So we're just going to shut down the servers and just kill it for everybody. Let's get caught up with chat real quick. Sai, I heard a rumor that you have a PlayStation 5. Is that true? Born Distracted.
I can neither confirm nor deny these terrible, terrible rumors about me.
Wolf has said, I did add RTX and to Left 4 Dead 2. It looked good, but it was 40 frames per second on my 4060. I wonder what it would be like on a 5070 that's overclocked to be TI model. Yeah, he likes finding all he's like, hey, Dad, they added ray tracing to this old game and this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, cool, okay.
Did you see the ray trace Doom 64 that they did?
No, I didn't.
Dude, it's super dark. You can't see anything, but it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Born Distracted. Why did Konami even buy the Turbo brand? Because it was there. Probably.
It was about the licenses for the Hudson games more than anything, and they wanted to make pachinko machines out of that shit. They didn't even care.
Oh,
yeah, it was Japanese.
that sucks.
Thing. Yeah.
Rab said, so it's still violating copyright. They're just doing more work to tailor it to new hardware. That's cool. Still someone else's work. Still someone else should be compensated. Maybe a settlement. My thing is in some cases, like you were bringing up, like where they're recompiling, because I have seen like the Super Mario Brothers widescreen or the Zelda 2 widescreen. My thought is go find these people and be like, hey, you work for us now. Like
the Sonic Mania.
Release it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Like fucking, instead of fighting, like that people are doing, people still love these old games and want to do cool stuff with it. Get people involved with this shit. Like you would have probably less of this stuff going on but I mean, let's be honest. Nintendo's not losing any money on that. Like that's not costing them any money. But
the reason they don't, I think the reason they don't is they don't want to set a precedent where if they start doing that, people will do it more and more.
True.
Of
course, then again, if you get these people that already know how to do it and you turn them loose and be like, hey, here's our back catalog. What's your next project?
This is the thing. There's only so many games. And if they got somebody good at it, they could do it for everything and be done. And then there'd be no worry about other people doing it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I was talking to you about a game. I've got the demo for it. It hadn't come out yet. It's called, I don't want to pull up Steam because Steam will act stupid on me. I may have to find it here in a second. It's kind of like this guy's version of what Castlevania 2 would be like as a modern game. And I will definitely buy the hell out of it because it looks freaking awesome.
I've seen it's cool.
But yeah, it's kind of like that type of thing. Yeah, my whole thought process on this is I'm like you, I would like to support them, but then you have these companies that are not going to do anything with titles and stuff. It's just like, I don't know why you even own this shit.
Like you're talking about Mario 64 widescreen. There's an emulator you can play. I think it's Project 64 where you can play Mario 64 in widescreen, even replace the textures and have it at a native higher resolution. It's an emulator that'll do that. It's been possible. I actually did a video on this like a couple of years ago. So that concept has been possible for a long time. And these native ports kind of achieve the same end result, sort of. But I'm not happy about the emulation thing, but it's a thing, right? But I'm more against the native stuff, I think, because I don't think they have a right to do that. And it just seems like it could potentially be robbing us gamers of something similar that would be put out by the real company. It's a weird, I don't know how I feel about it, but I don't feel good about it. I feel it looks cool. I like in concept, the idea of it. Yeah. But just because somebody has a great concept and they have an idea that's awesome, that doesn't mean that it's awesome for them to do it. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
They don't have a right to do it. It's, I don't know. I just think like if Nintendo was ever going to take things to the next level with some of their N64 games or Wii games or something and do something special, this kind of stuff is not helping us get legit Nintendo reimagined versions, remade versions. You know, there's all these remakes and stuff they did for all these games that are out there. And I think there's so much potential for ones that we would actually want to get that I think become less likely when the public just decides on their own to start doing things like that. I don't know. That's my thoughts about it.
Bourne says, I hear Genesis and SNES are getting new games. What's up with that?
What do you mean? Like the homebrew stuff, or are you talking about something else? Because I have Doom, the new Doom for Super Nintendo, and that's completely licensed, and they had to build a new chip to get it to do what they wanted. That kind of thing, unfortunately, they're not selling it anymore, which kind of makes me feel weird about it because I own it, and I don't like to be like, hey, look what I got that you can't get. You know, I don't want to be that guy. So I feel weird about talking about it too much, but that's the kind of stuff that I'd love and I want to see more of. And that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about when I say it does concern me when the general public just decides to do something on their own. And then maybe you don't get the new Doom for Super Nintendo, you know, then maybe you don't get this or that, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things I'd love to talk to. Of course, it also would depend. No, it would depend on every single company because everyone would have a different thing. There might be some companies be the same way, be like, yeah, it kind of feels like, should we go down this path? And other companies would just be like, yeah, we're never doing anything with that again, so who the fuck cares? Like, that IP is dead to me. It doesn't make me money.
Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that it, thankfully, you know, there is a public movement to try to, like, it, you know, because like you said, Konami, they don't give a shit about TurboGrafx, you know. So thank God there's people out there that care about it and have done like translations on some of those games and made it available to where you can get your hands on some of these games that we could have never got our hands on before. Fucking Rondo of Blood, you know, Dracula X, like it never got released in the United States until they put out that digital version on PlayStation 4. That was the first time that it was ever put out in the United States officially. Like,
that's
what?
So crazy.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. So what a weird area of gaming, because yes, we all have emulators. We all have ROMs. We all have ISOs. We have that. That's a thing that exists. Sure, I have EverDrives for all kinds of stuff. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that I don't want there to be a better solution. I do want there to be a better solution, you know? And if a company officially re-releases a Genesis game or a Super Nintendo game or something, and it's something that I really want, I mean, I probably buy it. You know, I bought an Evercade cart that has renovation games, like mainly Genesis games that I already have ROMs for on my my Mega EverDrive for my Genesis. I could play them on my Genesis, but I bought that because it's official, it's legit, and I want to own those, and I like the idea of having that collection where I can play those and see what that version is and see what that experience is like, but also support the idea of collections being released that have the old games that I love. Like, if we don't buy the Cowabunga collection with all the Ninja Turtles games, then the company thinks that we don't give a shit about Ninja Turtle games. You know, if we just emulate and that's good enough for us, then that's fine. And I'm not trying to lord this over people and tell people they're wrong for however they want to do stuff. But I'm saying, I personally think if they do put out something and it is something you love, you probably should buy it. You know, I feel good about that. I feel way better about that than I do emulating, even though rather play it on original hardware. Once I own the Cowabunga collection, I feel a hell of a lot better about playing Ninja Turtles 2 on my Famicom, because I own it. I have the license.
Yeah.
But anyway,
That's fair.
I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just like, there's so many aspects to this whole thing, because it's so, there's, you know what I'm saying? Like emulation and retro reimagining, new versions, new releases of cartridges that are licensed, and collections. And then there's the native ports. It's like, there's a lot going on with all this. There's a lot of ways to feel about things.
Yes, there are. I know what this next story makes me feel. Happy 35th anniversary to the SNES. This is another story that you brought up. Born, you're a little late, but yes, we talked about Dolly at the beginning of the episode.
Wow, that's insensitive. You're a little late, dude. Oh, I see what you meant. Never mind.
Really?
I'm being funny. I'm sorry.
The SNES turned 35 on August 23rd. Oh my God. It was released in 1991. Even though the Super Famicom dropped 9 months beforehand. So SNES sold 49.1 million copies. It was discontinued in 1999. The good old days when you got a video game with the console that you purchased.
Yeah.
Those were some good old days. Nothing like buying a brand new console and be like, oh, that's right, it's going to cost me another however much money to go buy a game as well. And this is, of course, the console that competed against the Sega Genesis.
How much was the Super Nintendo when it came out? Do you remember?
$199.99.
I think that
sounds about right.
Yeah, I think it was $199. 2 controllers, Super Mario World, $199. Yeah.
Let's see here.
And it came with the AV cables.
Uh-huh.
And the RF converter too.
No, that's the classic edition.
God, Super Nintendo was so good.
God, yes. So when did you tell me your stories about Super Nintendo? Like, tell me your memories with Super Nintendo, because I've got 2 or 3 different ones.
Oh, I was vehemently anti Super Nintendo. Yes. I loved the idea of the Super Famicom, and when I saw the photos of the Super Famicom in the magazines, I was like, dude, the Super Famicom looks so cool. And then when they showed off what the Super Nintendo was going to look like, I was out, and I was so mad. And I was like, fuck this. There's too many buttons on that controller anyway. I don't care. I'm perfectly happy with a Genesis and my Turbo Duo. I've got my Turbo Duo. It's awesome. I didn't have Turbo Duo at the time, but I was looking at Turbo Duo stuff. Super Nintendo comes out, and we rented one from a local video store. It was a grocery store right up the street that had them for rent. We rented the Super Nintendo with F-Zero and Castlevania 4 and something else. I can't remember. Anyway, I didn't expect to be. I was like, oh, it's going to be all right. Oh, Super Mario World. Yeah. Super Mario World, F-Zero, and Castlevania. And
damn, that's a killer lineup right there.
Well, so me, my mom, my sister, my brother, we're all in the living room firing this thing up. And it was immediately obvious that we were going to have one of these. My mom was like, oh, because like up to that point, we thought it was a little bit better than the Nintendo, but we're like, all right, whatever. And you turn it on, you see F-Zero, you hear Castlevania, you play Super Mario, and it was like, well, this is the greatest thing that's ever existed in all time. I guess we're going to have to go buy this now. So we after our rental was up, which was the next, maybe I think it gave you 3 days or something. We took the Super Nintendo back. And then when my mom got paid, we went to Walmart, got a Super Nintendo, and we got ActRaiser. And
yeah,
me and my brother tag teamed ActRaiser. He did the strategy parts and I did the action parts. We beat it the same day.
Wow.
And when we took ActRaiser back to Walmart and got 2 other games. I don't even remember what. But we became obsessed with Super Nintendo for quite a while. It was a brilliant system. And to this day, those first games are the best first games I think have ever come out for any console. They're the music, the graphics, the gameplay, it's all top tier for the entire generation of Super Nintendo. It's, yeah, love that console. That's why I have so many. I have a shit ton of Super Famicom and Super Nintendo cartridges. Like, that's one of the few that I still have all these cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
There's Mr. Rudd doing his thing.
Yeah, I showed this to Nicholas earlier. I'm like, do you know who that is? He's like, no. I'm like, that's Paul Rudd, Ant-Man. He goes, what?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to do a playthrough of Zelda 3 soon because I've never beat it.
Dude.
And I'm going to I have a cartridge. I already had the Super Famicom cart, but a few months ago I got the Super Nintendo one. So I'm going to play through that. I just haven't ever done it. I don't know why.
Yeah, you definitely need to do that. I was just showing the original SNES trailer that came out. All right, so thoughts that I have on the SNES. A friend of mine got it, unbeknownst to me, and I think it had to have been on Sunday. He got it on a Sunday, and he calls my house, and of course, back then didn't have cell phones. We just had the one house phone. Brother answers the phone. Danny's like, "Hey, I got a Super Nintendo. I'm coming over." He's like, "Sweet." So he comes and goes, "Hey, Danny's gonna come over and hang out." And I was just like, "I don't know, man. It's kind of raining outside. I don't really feel like hanging out today." He's like, "Oh, he's already on his way. It'll be fun. It'll be okay." And I'm like, "Okay." Didn't tell me anything. Shows up, Super Nintendo. Lose our fucking minds. We found we somehow accidentally found Star Road and beat the game day one. Now, we hadn't opened up we haven't been to all of the different lands. We haven't opened up like 95% of this game. But the idea that you beat the game on day one, why do you need this game? That's parent thought. We're like, no, Mom, you don't understand. I chose the original commercial for this. Did you have Channel 1 when you were in school? Okay. Yes. I will never forget. I was sitting it was always study halls when they did Channel 1, sitting in study hall and hearing the commercial for Super Mario World and just like looking up and like when it's like the skies are a little bluer, the oceans are a little deeper, a little cleaner. And I was just like I was like, it felt like I was this close to the screen. I was so zoomed in and just so in on that. And then of course I think it took several months. I don't think we got it I think we ended up getting it for Christmas because we didn't have just money to go buy a console, but this is it. This is my OG. Really wish it wasn't discolored down there. The top looks great. The top coloring on it looks fantastic. The bottom, yeah. Of course, we're not going to retro bright it. We've already had that conversation. Yeah. That's probably my all-time favorite console. Probably my all-time favorite console. List off how many games I had and how many games were just absolute bangers was just.
There's no reason why it shouldn't be. Like, Super Nintendo is arguably the best console ever made. It's the perfection of 2D SD resolution gaming.
Absolutely.
I have a special place in my heart for Genesis and of course TurboGrafx, obviously, and then the 8-bit systems. But Super Nintendo is, it's advanced. It's more advanced than the other ones, and it does things that the others. I mean, it's fucking awesome. It's really, really good. And then the special chips took it to some other level that it wasn't even going to be at. So Super Nintendo, and then forget about technology, just the quality of the gameplay, the way the buttons were utilized, the shoulder buttons that was never been done before. Never been 6 buttons on a controller before, technically 8 buttons. It's just a brilliant system, and the library on Super Nintendo is I mean, obviously, there's a reason why we all wanted to emulate Super Nintendo so bad, you know.
Yeah.
And we were, you know, when Nintendo brought out the Super NES Classic, everybody bought one. Whether we all had ROMs, we all had emulators. We wanted the Nintendo version. We wanted the actual Nintendo version. And that's again goes back to what we're talking about. If you give us an option, we're probably going to do it. Because nobody feels great. Nobody's like high-fiving themselves about stealing ROMs, you know?
Yeah.
It's a solution that we've had to do, but give us a better option, Nintendo. We're there. And here's the other thing, Nintendo. We really liked buying your digital games when you offered them for people to buy, you know? And the Nintendo Switch Online is really cool, but give us an option to buy those games. You know what I'm saying? Make something special, do some special versions or something, and let us buy the games like we did on the 3DS and the Wii and the Wii U. Because, dude, are you telling me you're not going to buy, you know, whatever, you know, the NES games or the Super Nintendo? You're not going to, I mean, you're going to buy them. If it like, oh, Super Metroid is there and it's $5. I guess I'll buy Super Metroid again.
Dude, I will never forget. I'm going to get caught up here on the chat here in just a second, but I will never forget when I had the Switch and they updated Switch, or not Switch, Wii, the Wii. When they updated the Wii shop, and Christmas morning, I repurchased and re-downloaded Super Mario Brothers and played it. I played that game 1,000,000 times on the original NES, but I was excited as a little boy again playing it on it. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense, but I was. That's just how it was. Born Distracted said Super Mario World really makes the SNES purchase necessary. Absolutely. Yes. Wolfus, honestly, I like how consoles, when you guys were growing up, came with 2 controllers and there was no online crap and you really did own the games. Yep, that's true because I do still own it. I know I play games online with my friends, but when you're actually in the room, in the same room, it's something to remember. 100%.
It's way better. It's way better.
Born Distracted, best launch window lineup. I'd have to really look at that. That's definitely in the running. Like,
what's better? What's better than the Super Nintendo launch?
I don't know. I'd have to really look at it. I can't, because especially as you kept going on with games, with consoles, a lot of the draw was, oh, by the way, it's backwards compatible. So that all kind of melds together. It's like, well, I'm going to buy this console. There's only maybe 3 or 4 games coming out for it, but I still have my back console. You know, I still have all my old stuff, which is, I've had these conversations this week with multiple people about some of the stuff that's happening. And like, to this day, I still wish I had not sold my Dreamcast, but my wife and I were newly married. I needed the money. I wish I hadn't sold my GameCube. Yeah. My Wii does everything the GameCube will do, but I just love that little console. I kind of wish I hadn't sold my Game Boy Advance. Like, but my DS played the game, so it was like, why would I hold on to it? There's just some consoles that I wish I had never sold, and I'm so glad I kept some of them. And nowadays, we're going to get to this here at the end of the show if we have enough time. Wish I had sold my Xbox 360, but we'll get to that in a second. Nintendo hates its fans. That's just right. Autocorrect, it's fan. Okay. Honestly, Nintendo's the one who seems to be the least hateful right now. Like, yeah, Sony's just flat out being like, fuck y'all. And Microsoft's like, I don't know.
I mean, these are companies, you know.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, the fact that we make them seem like a person is, but everyone fucking does that. Everyone does that shit.
We have relationships with the things we love. We do.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, so the SNES turned 35.
30 freaking 5 years old. That's enough time for you to have a kid and your kid to have a kid and be about to have another kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Depending on how you do it. And here's one more other comment I'm going to make about it. I have not taken this thing apart yet to clean it. I'm sure it needs a good cleaning, but it was in a smoke-free home. I
know a guy that can recap it for you if you need that done.
I guarantee you, if I plug this thing up right now, it's going to fire up and go.
Yeah. Well,
Newer consoles, you don't know.
Super Nintendos are having problems lately. There's a lot.
Are they starting to have some? Okay.
I've had 3 worked on. So
Okay.
it's just the caps, basically. That's the biggest problem. There's some other issues, but that's really
caps are just that, but that's gonna be a universal thing.
It's that generation, 90s stuff. Yeah.
So oddly enough, I never got the SNES Mini. I got the NES Mini, modded the hell out of it, but I never got the SNES Mini. I think it's just because it may have just been a money thing at the time. I still think if they brought out an N64 Mini, that would have killed, but
they should have. Now I think they realize that they should have, but
yeah, probably so.
They were just doing it as a temporary cash.
And they did that year. I literally, that was the last time I have gone to a Target or a Walmart or anything like that and waited early in the morning for something. And it was funny because literally I was because I was trying to find them for other people at one time. I was at a Target and I'm waiting outside with a bunch of other people, and the manager comes out and goes, "If you're here for the NES Classic, line up on this side. If you're here for Snatchimals, Hatchimals, whatever the big toy was, line up on this side." And literally you saw the line kind of part, but most of the people were going one way or the other. And I heard some of the people as they were walking like, maybe I'm in the wrong line. So
that was proof positive, and Nintendo still didn't quite get it, but that was proof positive that people wanted to pay them for their shit. We wanted their retro games, and we wanted to own them from them. We wanted legit copies, and they still didn't quite get it, but what a great moment. That was cool.
And see, the other thing is we talk about this because we're geeks. We understand this stuff. If you told me, hey, can you figure out how I can play an old game? Yeah, sure. You can emulate it. What's that? 95%, maybe more, 99% of the population has no clue. So all they know is, oh, cool, I can go buy the old console and play the old games again on an HDMI on my big screen TV. Saddle up, let's go. So yeah, absolutely. Next story is kind of a short one, but I wanted to bring it up just because. September 6th is Bring Your Own Bucket again at Cinemark. Have you done this before, Cyrus? I don't see you necessarily doing this because it's just you. I've done this for 2 years now. This is so worth it that I will definitely be going. The first year they did this, I've got this. Christy had this it's a big clear bucket, and it's for party stuff. It's this big clear bucket, and it's got a lid on it. And you open, and inside of it had some plates and some other stuff. Basically, it was kind of to set up a small party, in a bucket thing, but it's a good sized bucket. And I was they said I could bring any bucket I want. This is about the biggest thing I have that's fairly clean. So I get to the place, I get to Cinemark, and I pull it out and I start walking up, and I'm just I kind of feel like an idiot. And about that time, I watch a family walk out, and every single one of them has a Lowe's bucket full of popcorn. And I'm just okay, good. I'm not the only person. And then since then, Cinemark is actually, their social media stuff has gone well. They've done a fantastic job of advertising some of the crazy shit people have brought in. Cause literally it's up to 400 ounces. It's huge. And so people will bring in, like I said, Lowe's buckets, whatever, make sure they're cleaned out first, people. But yeah, I brought this big thing for $5. I got this huge amount of popcorn. And part of me was just man, this is a ton of popcorn. I wonder if this has got, no, I've got 2 teenage boys. It lasted 2 days. This is for $5. This is so worth it. I'm telling you right now, if you're listening to me and you have a lot of people to feed, or you just really like popcorn, go do this. It's a ton of fun. You are going to see people walking in with some of the craziest shit to put popcorn in and just laugh and have a good time. Whoever came up with this idea for them, I guarantee you they're not losing money. Cause popcorn's got to be, it's got to be so cheap for them to make. Yeah. So, but the fact that everyone's just oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the theater. Maybe I'll sit there and watch a movie while I'm sitting there with my giant thing of popcorn. I'm just going to get the popcorn. So
I would hate to clean the theaters though, because people are just throwing popcorn around.
Oh God, yeah. Eugene, did that give you heartburn? No, it doesn't. Popcorn doesn't give me heartburn. I'm good to go on that. So I'm also not that person that puts like jalapenos on popcorn. Yeah.
I never put jalapenos in popcorn.
No, I've put some weird things in popcorn, but of course, I'm not really a jalapeno person either. So
What
I
kind
saw
of
that
weird
face.
things? Never mind.
Let's move on. So the next story, talk about another anniversary, talk about another way to make you feel old, Cyrus.
Uh-oh.
Transformers, the movie, has its 40th anniversary coming up. Fathom Events will be showing the movie from September 17th to September 21st. Alex and I are actually going to go on the 17th. Nick actually has a football game that day, but Alex has something else going on, so I've got to stay back with him. They are remastering it in 4K. So that by itself right there is worth going to see it in the theater. But they've added a after credit scene.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be a way to hype up the next thing Hasbro's doing with the toy series or whatever. And you know what? I'm fucking here for it.
I'm here for it too. Let's go.
For it too. Let's go. And I love the fact that they are calling this the apology tour because they understood they fucked up, but they're leaning into it. All of us adults are like, yeah, you really fucked me up back then. But you know what? Still love the movie. Still love those characters. It's funny because I was talking to my partner at work about this today, and we were discussing how this caused so much of a headache for Hasbro, and supposedly they had death threats and everything else, and they're like, yeah, hey, let's not release the G.I. Joe movie. Let's cut it up and put it as like a multi-part, just part of the cartoon series, and let's make sure we record at the end of hey, everyone, Duke made it. Yay! Yeah. Like,
he's gone into a coma. Like you could, yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I just wanted to throw this out there. It's funny because some of my friends who are big Transformers fans apparently didn't know about this, and I posted on a couple of the Discords, and they're just like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing." So my question is do I wear the 3D printed Matrix I created, or do I wear the brand new one that I bought from? Because I'm wearing something, dude. Like, it's happening. Like, I'm fucking going to this theater with no one. The only people who are going to be in this theater are going to be men our age, roughly, maybe with their kids. This is the perfect place to wear this.
I'm imagining riveted 50-year-olds, bored 10-year-olds.
Nope, don't say that.
That's just that's what I'm imagining.
Don't say bored, because both of the boys loved it when they were younger. They watched it and they're just like, Dad, that movie was awesome. I'm like, yeah, it was.
Well, it is awesome. It's a freaking anime. It's like it's not even like the regular cartoon. It's like way higher quality,
Alex said, Dad, we take both. I take one and you take one. I guarantee you I'm not going to be the only one in the theater with a Matrix on. I'm just telling you right now. Since Hasbro released this one that was like you could pre-order and stuff, all of the huge Transformer fans, I'm sure, probably bought one. So I won't be the only one walking in.
Oh,
I'm sure the people at the movie theater are going to be like, what the fuck is this?
Dude.
Why is everyone carrying this giant ball thing with handles on it?
There'll be people fully dressed up as Optimus and
I'm here for it.
Everybody will be mad at the one guy dressed up like Rodimus.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but yeah, I just wanted to throw this out there. I love that Fathom Events does these things. And like the last several years, like some of the smaller movie theaters, unfortunately, a lot of them have gone under, used to do these things. And I know the Alamo Draft House is another group that's kind of on their way down, but they used to do things like the summer of '86. And they would like every week they would show movies that came out. And then when you go back and you look and they're just like, oh my God, that was a murderer's row of movies we had that summer. Like 84, 85, 86. Oh, there were some years that just banger after banger.
87 is one of those years that's like,
yes, it is
unbelievable. You're just like, wow. The shit that came out, movies, music, and video games and TV shows in 87. Wow.
Yeah, there were some years that were just like banger after banger. So, but yeah, I want to throw this out there. So yeah, Alex and I are going to go. So that should be a lot of fun.
That's good.
I want to wrap this up. We've got a little time left. We got try to stick to about 2 hours here. I wanted to wrap this up and go through the quest that my boy and I have been on for the last 5 weeks for an Xbox 360. Here's the thing. He comes to me and goes, "Hey Dad, I want to buy an Xbox 360." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, why?" Part of this is tied to the fact, do you want to come over here and talk?
Sure.
All right.
Here's my 360.
You talk.
So, it has been hell. Trying to get one of these that works.
Why did you want the fat boy? Why did you want the old school fat white
I love the look. Specifically the silver disc tray. I didn't want the all white one. I want the silver disc tray. I want the silver part right here. Just love the fat look. I get that it's the same console if it's black and stuff. I still think it looks cool. There's just something about the fat one that looked so much better to me. I don't know. It just looked better.
So anyway, he decides he wants one of these things. Now we got a cat joining us, so this is gonna be a fun show. So anyway, he wanted the fat boy. He wanted the OG version, right? And partially because
Introduce the cat. You got to introduce the cat.
This is Miles Teller. So obviously my wife named him. So because everything else is named after, Star Wars and everything else. So anyway, so he wanted this one because he got probably a 12-inch CRT from my wife's grandfather's house. And he wanted something to play on it. I was like, I've got other consoles, but he wanted specifically this one because there were some games he wanted to play. And so we ordered one from Walmart. There was a third. By the way, I hate Walmart and Amazon and everyone else who lets people sell stuff on their stuff as third party because they don't have to obey the rules of everything else that's being sold directly from those companies. So anyway, he orders this Xbox 360 and it comes in and it's a Xenon.
It says
it's the original motherboard.
Here's the craziest thing though. On the listing it says comes with the console, comes with a controller, power cords, AV, not HDMI, or maybe depending on which model you got,
and a hard drive.
Yeah.
For $100. It's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. So we order it. It takes a week or so to come in. And when it comes in, it's the Xbox 360 and the hard drive. And that's it. No controller, no power cord, no AV cable, nothing. So, all right, let me send them a message. You're just going to help me out here, aren't you, Miles? So anyway, I said, hey, listen, according to your thing, all this stuff should have been sent, blah, blah, blah. They finally send us, it takes like another week. And they send us a power cord, they send us a controller, and they send us an HDMI cable. It doesn't even have HDMI. The Xenon does not have HDMI built into it. So I was like, okay, whatever. So we go to a local store, we buy, the AV cables. Luckily, they did have one of the AV cables. And we bring it home, and he orders 4 games from GameStop.
Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. I actually played the PC version. I've been playing the 360 version. There are so many cars, and whatever the physics was back then is just so much better. I still do love the PC port, but everything else just feels so much better on the 360.
Yeah, he keeps telling me, he's like, Dad, there's a bunch of cars on here that aren't in the other version because I'm sure it's a licensing issue. So.
Yeah, they wiped like half the Mercedes.
Oh yeah, good point.
And
yeah.
I bought Black Ops 2, and then I bought
Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare is Black Ops.
Yeah, okay.
Battlefield 2, Bad Company, and then what was it? Assassin's Creed 2. That's all the games that I purchased.
Yeah. So he buys these games, he starts putting in some of the games, and the system red rings. And just like, motherfucker. Okay. So contact the company, hey, the thing red ringed, and they don't have an option to replace it. So I'm like, okay, I guess we're just going to ship it back. So we got to looking, and they offer them on GameStop's website. So I was like, okay, so I guess we'll order one from GameStop. $99, console, controller, power cord, AV cables. Doesn't come with a hard drive, but you know what? That's fine. We'll manage without it because they're really not that expensive. I have seen them online. They're not that expensive. And we finally get it in and plug it in. Comes on. Looks good. Screen's great. It looks, show the sides. It's not yellowed at all.
Yeah, it is basically perfectly white.
it looks fantastic.
I don't
Right?
drop it. It's heavy. Be careful.
Yeah.
It has all the labels and everything.
So anyway, goes to hook up the controller won't come on. And I'm just like, son of a bitch and Bob, are you serious?
The way
So
you
this
said that,
happened.
you sounded like Donald Trump when you said that. Controller
What?
won't come on.
No,
it won't
Saturday.
come on. Sorry.
No, it was Friday.
Oh yeah, it was Friday. Never mind. Yeah, because
So Friday, I'm like, okay, listen, here's what we're going to do. We'll end up taking the controller. We just pack the whole thing up. We'll take it to GameStop. We'll see if they can exchange the controller. So we pack it up. We take it to GameStop, and we go into the one game. We go into the one GameStop, and I'm like, "Do you have any Xbox 360 controllers?" And she's like, "Let me look." Nope, I sure don't. I don't have any Xbox 360 controllers. I'm just like, well, okay, well, here's the situation. And she's just like, yeah, I don't have anything I can trade with you. And I'm like, can you look up and see if any of the other stores, because there's at least one more in town. There's a couple in surrounding towns. Can you look up and see if they have any? She goes, we lost that ability. The system went down a couple of months ago and we cannot check the stock of other stores. And I'm just like, what? Okay, whatever. So we go out, sit in the car, pull out the cell phone, and I start calling other stores. None of them have any Xbox 360 controllers. None of them. They have Xbox 360s, and they're like, the one guy goes, I could trade the whole system out for you. And I'm just like, okay, well, which ones do you have? All he has are the black S's. And I'm like, no, that's not what he wants. He wants the old one. He wants the older one. Well, no, I can't. And I'm like, so you do have controllers? Yeah, but I can't separate it. What do you mean you can't separate it? It's not married to it. In fact, the controller that they sent with this one is black and third party. It's not even an official Microsoft controller.
yeah,
And so, no, they won't do it. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And I called a couple of towns. Can't figure it out. So then we go to Game Exchange. We're like, all right, it's like 5-minute drive. Go to Game Exchange. They have 0 Xbox 360 controllers. None. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? He's like, Xbox 360 is really hot right now. Like, no one is selling Xbox 360. Everyone just wants to buy Xbox 360 stuff. So I found a cheap controller on Amazon. It is brand new. And it works. It's wired. I was like, do you really need because this will basically be your second controller. Are you okay with it being wired to save a little money? He's like, sure. Got the controller. It gets in Saturday, plugs in. Everything works great. So he does have a working controller, and it's not like he's sitting really far away. Hell, the controller has like a 10-foot cord on it.
yeah.
It's got a really long cord on it anyway, so he could still sit on his bed if he wanted to and play the games. But yeah, like it's the idea that I can't, I couldn't trade it out. And so I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll contact GameStop, proper, the website. And they're like, oh, we're so sorry about that. Yeah, we'll take care of it. We just need you to pack the entire console up and ship it to us. And I'm just like, no, this isn't good condition. The disk drive works. It doesn't smell like smoke. It's really clean. I don't know what you're going to end up shipping back to me. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm like, is there any way you can just swap out the controller? No, we can't do that. We have to swap the entire thing. So I'm just like, well, you know what? Never mind. Just close this. I'll figure out something else to do. So like, it's just, why the hell did I have to go through all this for this fucking console, man? Like, this is ridiculous.
Times have changed, that's for sure.
Recently, so whenever we got the first console, so Need for Speed and Assassin's Creed, they read perfectly. They were perfectly fine. In fact, the Assassin's Creed they sent me, I don't know if it's ever been opened.
It looks brand new. Like it's the original green case, as the artwork. Like it doesn't look like there's a single scratch on that disc. It looks fantastic.
Full manual. It has it's like I bought it new.
Yeah.
And the only 2 games it didn't want to read was Black Ops 2 and Bad Company 2. They didn't want to read. I have no idea why. It's not sure. When the console red rings, though, Black Ops 2 was still in the console, and when the 360 red rings, the fans should still spin, and you should still be able to open this drive. That should happen. What was weird is, number one, our disk drive was flipped around. I don't know why.
There are apparently different models of disk drives that they had in those consoles.
Yeah.
So,
And So basically, we had to take apart the entire console to get the Black Ops 2 disc out. And when we did, what was really weird is that even though the disc, so you know how the disc was still in there?
Mm-hmm.
Remember how the drive wasn't opening even though it should have? There was apparently a part that was supposed to be there they were talking about. That was really weird. But anyway, with this new console or the newer one, which is the Falcon model, it's 2 years after the Xenon, so it does have HDMI. Um, the what's it called Bad Company 2 disc now reads on it. So I don't know why it does that, but it reads. So I played it and just see how long it would read. It reads perfectly fine. Black
Huh.
Ops 2 still doesn't. So we're probably going to try to clean it eventually, but I'm not worried about that. I'm having too much fun on the Need for Speed.
And because it was after 7 days after we originally purchased it, GameStop won't take it back.
You know, I the past year got really into 360 again, and I've been buying games. Like I bought a whole bunch of games. I bought a bunch from GameStop, and most of them were fine, but I did have like 3 or 4 of them that wouldn't work. And I thought about doing some kind of resurfacing or whatever. I did some research on it, and I found out that it's just ridiculously expensive and stupid, and it's a mess, and don't do it. It's bad. Because pretty much any 360 game you want is pretty affordable. There's only a few that are really bad, that are expensive. And you can get them off eBay. And if you buy them off eBay, you'll see the sellers will show you the disc, and you can tell if it's scratched up or not. And everybody that I bought from on eBay, I only had one guy that had an issue, and he found it before he sent me the game and told me, and he sent me a different game, and it works fine. So I've bought a bunch of games on GameStop, had some that didn't work. And then I bought games on eBay, had no problems, and I've gotten great stuff. I mean, I bought several 360 games this past year. Where the hell did I put them?
Look on eBay.
Oh, they're all, I don't know where they are. They're over here somewhere. But yeah, I've been really getting into 360. I bought the new controller, the one that I showed you with the D-pad, the transforming D-pad. You know.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Where did you get this one?
I got it. This one I got on Amazon. This one I got on Amazon.
You got it on Amazon. The joypad like kind of transforms and makes it easier to
See how that
to use.
Pops up? Like if you twist it, I'll show you how this works. Twist it, and it becomes like a regular D-pad that doesn't pop up. See that?
That's interesting.
But then if you twist it like this, then it pops up and it's now raised.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's much, much easier to use. They have different colored ones. This is a silver one, but I also got battery packs for them and a charger off Amazon for like $10 or something like that. Highly recommend you do that. But I got you a white controller, so don't worry. You're getting a good white controller that I don't use for anything. So,
oh, dude, are you serious? Thank you.
Yeah, I've been looking for it. I knew I had it. I just was trying to figure out where I put it, but I got it. So
he's gonna send you a white controller.
Are you sure it's like you don't?
Yeah, and do you want one like this, a black one that's like a legit one? Because I'll give you one of those too if you want one.
He's asking if you want a black one too.
Sure, I'll take one. You don't.
He said sure he'll take it, but
Yeah.
he'll have 2 controllers already, man. Thank you for that. That's awesome.
Okay, well, yeah. Oh, another thing I can give you that my brother gave me, which I don't need for anything, but if you want it, you can have, is the little keyboard attachment that plugs into the bottom of the controller. I can send that if you want it.
He said he will also send you. He doesn't use it. He doesn't need it. His brother gave it to him. Is the little keyboard attachment that goes on the bottom.
You have the keyboard attachment. I'm going to look at that. I'm going to look at what letters were used the most. I'm gonna decode whoever.
I've never used it. I've
He
never
said he's
used
never
it.
used it.
Oh, never. Okay.
Yeah, my
So-
brother gave it to me, so I don't know.
Dude, that's awesome. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
Thank you, Fat.
So, yeah, because I actually took the controller apart because I was like, well, maybe it's a cleaning issue, and like I took my my multimeter and it's getting 3 volts to the board, but after that, like I couldn't decipher where it was going because I'm like, this looks like it's a multi-layer board. Plus being third party, like all of the stuff I found online was like how to take apart an official one. And I'm just like, yeah, half the chips y'all are showing here aren't on this on
Dude,
this controller.
I got to tell you, those third-party controllers, they
Mhm.
do a different thing with the analog stick. It's not the same. It doesn't feel the same.
Oh yeah, it's totally different.
It's a lot of them are not even really analog. Like they say they're analog, but they register digitally. So
That's interesting.
yeah, so you'll be doing what you think is analog, but you'll be like, why does this feel so weird? It doesn't feel. It's because it's not registering analog. It's like directional. It's not good. A lot of them are like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, all right, dude. I'm gonna wrap up the show here in a second. So, thanks for being on. Bringing your console. So, yeah. So he's been, between playing Fortnite, he's literally been playing old 360 games, which is kind of fun. So,
Yeah, I've been buying them. I've been collecting 360 games this year. I've been really into it. I got a whole.
I literally was to the point I was like, well, if you and your brother decide to start buying more discs, because his brother could play them on his Series X, I was like, it might be worth doing the GameStop power up thing. But I'm kind of pissed off at him right now. So right now I'm just like, no, that's not happening. But
I highly recommend just buying them on eBay. It's a much better way to do it. You'll get better quality. You might pay a little more, but you won't, because you'll get better stuff and it'll be a better experience. And you have protection if something's wrong. eBay will help you get refunds or whatever you got to do,
I did some research today, and I am still going to try to resurface the disc. I saw there's like things you can buy that's like I'm like, he spent $10 on that. I'm not buying a $50 disc resurfacer or whatever. The thing that I found that is interesting to me and makes me want to try, because the disc is already scratched up, it's not going to work, right? So no loss there. I even asked his brother, I was like, hey, it's not working on his console. It's technically working on yours. Do you want it? No, I've already beat it. Okay, fine, whatever. Because I was like, maybe he'd sell it to you for $5, and he gets a little money back and you get he doesn't care. Apparently, and I've seen several people post this, you buy those kits that has the attachment that goes on a drill, and it's for redoing headlights. And you're basically buffing it up to about 3,000 grit and then hitting it with turtle wax. And I watched a guy do it from start to finish. And I mean, it took out a hell of a lot of scratches. So I'm like, you know what? The disc is already fucked up. I'm going to give it a shot. What am I going to do? Break it more? So, if it was a game, it was a little iffy, I probably wouldn't mess with it. But I'm just like, I'm curious. I'm curious to see if I can do it.
I'll tell you what, if you get it to work, I got a couple discs I can send to you, and maybe you can.
If I can get it to work and it works great, absolutely. This will be how I pay you back is resurfacing some of your discs, man. That would be awesome, actually.
That would be really, really fun if you do that, and we could figure that out.
Because it's going to be it's going to cost me $20 to do it. I'm like, $20. I can do this and satisfy an itch for $20. $50 on it. That's a whole game I'm spending. You know what I'm saying?
I could come down, order some pizzas, hang out, you buff some discs. We have a good evening of it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Whatever, figure it out.
So what is he saying? I just realized I will have every 360 accessories with the keyboard because I have the Yeah, he also still have that Connect you sent me. Now he's still got to buy an adapter for it so it'll work, but he still has that Connect. I'm like, dude, I've got a Connect. He's like, really? He needs an adapter or something for it to get to work. But he's like, I'm like, do you really want to mess with the Connect? Like,
does he want any Connect games? I have some games for Connect. I don't even have a Connect.
I mean, I guess, but don't worry about it. If we get this buffing thing worked out, we'll figure something out as a trip or something. So,
all right.
But yeah, like if you send him a controller, dude, like that would make his day. So,
no problem. I got you,
dude. That's awesome. So, well, that is everything we were going to talk about this month on the show. I didn't put the other little transition video in there because I'm not paying for it anymore and I don't have to deal with it. So that being said, where can we find you online, Cyrus?
You can find me on PlayStation Network playing PlayStation 5 Pro games on the PlayStation Store. Super Mega Graphics 64 on YouTube. That's
You know what?
it.
No, I still have that. I still have that. There we go. Wait a minute. There it goes. Yeah. Yeah, that's a ticket. If you want to follow my individual wacky adventure, you can find me at Optimus Gene on Instagram. Not really posting a lot of stuff, mostly reposting stuff from the show or whatever. So, and then of course you can always find us at epicallygeeky.com, where you can find all the shows we do and all the other cool stuff we have. I have a fantastic idea for the next Epically Geeky show. I'm not going to mention it here. I can't. I'm like, I don't want to schedule it too far ahead because I don't want people to forget, but I want people to start thinking about it. I was going to talk to you about it here in just a second. But anyway, let's talk about everyone that was in the chat. We've already thanked Wolfus because he was here. Thanks for being here. Born Distracted, Just Ray. Who else was here?
Rab was here.
Rab was here. We had a rando join us at the very beginning. Who was that person's name? Oh, PJ Smith was here. Buffalo Weasel Wings. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks everyone that joined. Always a fun time doing the show. Yeah. So we will see y'all next month, I guess, for everyone in sight and everyone in the chat. Have a good night. Here to check out epicallygeeky.com, where you can find all of the shows that we do, including the Epically Geeky Show, Marginally Geeky Book Club, Creatively Geeky, Sustainably Geeky, EG Live, and EG Gaming. But before you do, make sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube. And if you're a person with a human-style body, why not head over to our TeePublic store and grab a t-shirt, hat, shorts, or whatever else they sell to cover that body. You can find the link in the show notes. And thanks for supporting us here at Epically Geeky. See you next time.
What's the twist? What's the score?